Hey guys, just a quick note before I get into the video. I have uploaded two versions of this video. One is a long video that has my voiceover and then has all of the questing clips, so you can see what like the boss is like or what mechanics the quest has if you're interested. And then the other version is a shorter version. It's only about 15 minutes, which just has this voiceover explaining what the items do and some of the quests just as filler for the audio. So pick whatever video you like, whatever one's relevant to you, and ask any questions you'd like. And now I'm going to get right into the intro. Thanks. Welcome back, everybody. This is Gibby or Grace, whatever you prefer. And I'm coming at you today with another Adventure Quest video. And today I've got all of the information on Mogloween. So there's like 20 quests in the hub, and you're not sure which ones to do or what items you can get from them. I've compiled all that information and I have video of doing all the quests if you're interested. First, I'm going to do a voiceover, and that'll just be about 10 or 15 minutes, depending on how long it takes me to go through the items. And then after that, it'll just be music playing for all the questing. So if you're interested in looking at a specific quest, I have them timestamped so they're like chapters. But if you just want to hear about the items, just listen to the first section until I'm done talking, and then feel free to know what you want to buy. So I'll just get right into it then. In the Mogloween hub, there are several Zorbak quests. He has the Undead Princess quest, the Zorbak's Evil Pets quest, the Doppelganger quest, and the Monster Maniacs quest. They have slightly different names in the portal versus the Today's Event version of Mogloween. But if you click on Zorbak, you'll be able to tell which is which. These are the quests from 2002, 2004, 2005, and 2010. Now, the Monster Maniacs quest is the only quest with any items, and what it has is it has a Darkness pet, a Water and Earth and Fire pet. Now, the Water, Earth, and Fire pet are almost max level. The Darkness pet is max level, and the Darkness pet randomly has a chance to do less damage and control, and the Earth pet randomly does more or less damage throughout the fight. The other two pets are pretty standard. I wouldn't recommend any of these pets. They're all very boring, don't do anything too special. You could argue the control is good. I don't think it's that good on a random dark pet. So the next quest is the 2006 quest, and it has a different name on the Mogloween hub versus the House Painting hub. So it's Pumpkin Golems at Mogloween and Jack Pumpkinface, and this is the 2006 quest. What it has when you beat it is it has underleveled wind, ice, and fire weapons for like multiple combat styles. Only get those if you're a low level or a mid level. The only max level weapon it has is a melee fire weapon, Pumpkin Carver. It doesn't do anything special, just damage. What it does have that is pretty stellar is the Ghost costume, which is one of only two dodge lean armors we have. It's wind element. And it's the only free-to-play dodge lean armor that we have. So it's quite good for any dodge build players. So I recommend it if you're interested in that type of build. It also has the Gorgonzilla costume, which is a water armor with a fire skill that poisons. It's a pretty bad armor. It's like mid-offensive, so like, it's trash. And then finally, if you're into Fashion Quest, there's the level 20 clown costume, which you can see in the video. Looks pretty goofy. So the next quest has two different names. When you're at the Mogloween main hub, you click on the witches to find it, and it's called like Search for the Witch Sister. If you're on the House Portal version, House Painting version, then you simply do the Witch Hunt, which is the 2007 quest. It has a bunch of not max level ranged 100 procs for like ice, fire, and wind. And then it also has a max level energy ranged 100 proc, which is the Licorice Whip. They're all Licorice Whips, they're just different element, and only the energy one is level 150. It also has the Sugar Rush armor, which is a fully defensive earth, wind, and energy triple compression armor, which sounds kind of good. It's not great, but it does have damage boosted by candy, and it does have a 4-hit weapon skill. So not the best, but it could be used. It also looks kind of corny. So if you like that, then go for it. This 2007 also has the Pumpkin Patch spell, which is one iconic because of Zeruel. And also it's a mana spell that it scales off your endurance. So if you're a tanky mage, feel free to pick it up. It only goes to level 140, but it's mostly fine. Drago Lantern is also in this shop. It is a pet that seeks between earth and fire, simply attacks the monster's weaker resistance. The next quest is from 2008, and if you're at Mogloween, you click the Were King to get to this quest, and it's the Falling Star Mystery, or the Shooting Star Mystery. And if you're on the house portal, house painting, it's called the Falling Star Mystery. And again, it's from 2008. The items you can get from this are the Desiccated Leg, which is a 15 proc magic energy weapon with a negative BTH lean. Don't get it, it's trash. There's the Dire Tooth form, which is a mid-offensive Earth Dark compression armor. Normally I would say no because it's mid-offensive, but I can't think of any other convenient Earth Dark compression armors, and it's pretty easy to get. So you could consider it. And then finally there's the Conglomerate Franken Shield, which is an energy shield with Earth and Dark secondaries. There's also an underleveled Gween Earth Pet. I wouldn't buy it because it's so underleveled. And for 2009, we have Lockjaw's house, and that's the same both at the Mogloween hub and the house painting hub, so you don't have to worry about getting confused. The rewards for this are the Corpse Cannon, which is a simple 100 proc ranged weapon that's dark, and the Frankenglaive, which is a 15 proc light spear, and when it procs, it slightly boosts the next 5 attacks. It's not good. It does a tiny bit extra damage when it's procced, but it's random. Don't use it. There are better light spears. The next quest that I have on my list is 2012, and the reason we skipped to 2012 is because 2010 is the Monster Maniac quest that's found at Zorbak. In 2011, I couldn't find. I don't think there was a 2011 quest, or if there was, I missed it. But it is the Visit Zombieland quest if you're at Mogloween, and if you're at the house painting, it's Zombieland's exclamation point. So all it has is an energy misc that summons an energy guest, which has a trigger on zombies. It also has a very wide damage range. It also has a dark pet, I think it's called Loco and Roco, or something like that, and it deals 50% more damage if you have Candy to feed it. The energy misc is called Taladosian Tart. The 2013 quest is called The Children of the Measurer, both in the Mogloween hub and the house painting hub. It has 2 items. The Homework Cannon is a minus 10 BTH lean, dark 100 proc ranged weapon. So it's a good ranged weapon because it has more damage because of its BTH lean. Are there better dark ranged weapons? Yes, but this is a good option. Measure's Totem is a simple energy wand that has 100 proc and a 20 proc true special. Nothing's good about this, just a normal energy wand. So now I'm going to talk about the Dollmaker Part 1 and 2. Both of those are from 2014, and they're both in the same spot at the Mogloween hub and the house painting hub. So the Arctic's doll and the Galanoth doll come from Part 1, and they are light magic 100 procs and light earth 100 procs. And Arctix triggers against undead, and Galanoth triggers against dragons, and is strongest against wind dragons. They both have down triggers if they're not undead or dragons. Part 2 is the Dollmaker Part 2. You finish that quest pretty easily. It has the Yukara doll, which is a 100 proc wind magic weapon, which does plus 10% damage if the monster doesn't have int, and it does slightly less damage if the monster does have intellect. And doll form is an FD earth armor with a secondary resist at ice at 44% at 150, so it's borderline a compression armor. And it has slightly MRM. Its MRM is a little bit higher than most armors, only a little bit though. It's not like Ghost costume. And the last thing from that shop, the Dollmaker Part 2 shop, is the LP doll, which is a light and dark pet. It attacks randomly, so it does 20% extra damage. The 2015 quest is Ghosts and Moglins. It's the same, both at the Mogloween hub and the painting hub, so no confusion there. The only weird thing about it is it requires you to have 10,000 candy to access, which is just a little strange. None of the other quests have a candy requirement, but whatever. It only has one reward, which is the Moglord Ghost Pet. It's a simple wind pet. It has a chance to do extra damage or a chance to do half damage, evens out to neutral damage. Um, its effect is that it steals 20 to 30 candy per attack, so it helps give you more candy, is the only thing it does. You can use this if you like to use the other candy items, but there's not much else that's good about it. So for 2016, there's the Mysterious Artifact quest and the Grand Pumpkin. They're both listed as 2016, and they both have the same names on the Mogloween hub and the House Painting hub. The Mysterious Artifact quest has access to the Pumpkin Fang, which is a magic water dagger that boosts spell damage by 18.75%, and it does less damage with basic attacks. And Paladin Lord's Axe, which does plus 10% damage against undead, and it gains an accuracy lean against undead. If you're a paladin or you have the paladin title, there's no down trigger, but otherwise there's a small down trigger. And if you're in the necromancer armor or have the necromancer title, there's a larger down trigger. The Grand Pumpkin simply has the Pumpkin Slayer and the Pumpkin Reaver. They are melee and ranged weapons respectively, and the melee weapon has a 50% chance for extra damage, and the ranged weapon has a 50% chance for extra accuracy. In 2018, there's the Candy Caverns quest, and this quest has the same name in both locations, which is nice. And the way the quest works is there is a map, and you have to fight the Sugar Gobbler at the end. Excuse me. You have to fight the Sugar Gobbler at the end. And the way to get there is you go right, then you go up 3 times, then you go left, and that brings you to the boss. When you beat the Sugar Gobbler, you have 2 options. You can give back the candy, and that unlocks the shop, or you can keep the candy, and that gives you 1 to 20,000 candy. The Sugar Gobbler Guest is one thing you can buy in both call and summon varieties, I believe, and it can do base damage, or it can have a chance to petrify. If you feed it candy, the damage and the petrify are much stronger. You can also buy the Sugar Gobbler House Guest here if you're interested in making house gauntlets or whatnot. The 2019 quest is called Scourge of Pumpkin Spies, and at the Mogloween hub, and the Pumpkin Spies at the House Painting hub. The weapon that you can get is called Ram's Head Cleaver. It has a small chance to inflict a fire element freeze. I think it's called like thermal expansion or something. But it's C tokens, and the chance is very low. So I think you shouldn't buy this. It's a very bad item overall. It has an earth spell called Knife to Meet You, which is quick cast, does slightly reduced damage, and you can only use it once per battle because it's quick cast. I haven't used it anywhere except on low level accounts who are killing Nerf Kitten, so I would only use it if you plan to level up alts. And finally, it also has a Fire Guest Summon spell, or a Fire Guest Call spell, which is Gordon Ram's Head, and it's simply a Fire Guest that does damage, or you can toggle it to do less damage and have a chance to paralyze. Now for 2020, the quest is called the Sister's Revenge in both locations, and it has some pretty good weapons. It's actually a war. I think it's the only Mogloween war. And it has the Edge of Malice, which is an earth, melee, and range toggle weapon, and you can also toggle it to do daze. And it has a minus 3 BTH lean normally, but when it's daze mode, it has a minus 10 BTH lean. These are kinda ass because we don't have anything that works with daze right now, but if we get a daze eater or a daze like something or other in the future, they could be pretty good. Fracture Point is the real star of this event because it has a toggle into a bleed mode, which not only bleeds the enemy at the end of every turn, but also gives you 20 bleed potence, so it helps all of your other bleed effects as well. In 2021, that was Zombies Landing, same in both locations, and it has the Zombie Hand Cannon, which is a light ranged gun. It's 100 proc with a 20 proc special, and it does bonus damage to the monster if they have 0 intelligence. It also has 3 spells. In all 3 spells, their gimmick is that they pay 95% of their damage, so they do very little damage at base, and they inflict really strong statuses instead. They also all come in magic or SP versions, and the SP version follows your weapon type, so any build can use these spells. Zorbak's ultimatum is wind, and it purely does a poison at a -20 save. 74th Law is fire, and it does a bleed and a fire burn. The burn is a 50-50 save, but the bleed is a -20 save, which is pretty good. And Mandate is an earth spell, which does choke and blind both at a 50-50 save. All three of these are really good. You could argue like, oh, poison's kind of ass, like sure, but it's the strongest source of poison we have, I believe. So all three of them are good if your build can use them. And finally, in 2022, this year, at the time of recording, obviously, we got Cauldron Trouble, same name in both locations. And the rewards for this quest are the Brain Wreck Misc, which cuts water damage in half, gives you slight MRM, and once per battle, it gives you SP on click. Currently, it gives 395 SP, but I have it on good authority that unfortunately it's going to be nerfed to only give 195 SP. Either way, I think it's good for adventurers. I like to use free SP, so I might use it, why not? And in the shop, there are also some Cauldron faces with an Elden Ring reference. The final part of Mogloween is the seasonal Mogloween shop. And so it has several items in it. A lot of them are pretty bad, but I'll just go through them. Toffee Apple Wand is just a magic wand that compresses water and energy. Not many people use wands, but if you do, this could be nice. Chainsaw is a ranged weapon that has a special. It's water, not very good, but you could use it if you like the art. It's kind of cool, kind of different. Cyclops Trident Cyclops Trident of Light. Pretty bad, simply a light spear. Dark Comedy is a magic weapon that has a really wide damage range. So it could do like 0 damage or like a lot. I don't know. It's not very good. There aren't any free-to-play level 150 armors, but there is level 143 Sinister Pumpkin Overlord and Pumpkin Overlord. And both of these are pretty bad. They just have a rare chance to do extra damage. And they're tokens. And there's also Straight Jacket Z. Straight Jacket Z is notable because it's an armor that compresses water and energy, and its attacks have a negative BTH lean. But aside from that, not very good. I wouldn't spend tokens on it, personally. In the shields, we have Slime Barrier. I know it's designed by a player. Respectfully, it's kind of ass. It heals you based on how many hits you took last turn. Not very good. The heal is very small. In the spells section, there's actually some baller spells, if I may say so. Bomb Lantern G is just a normal fire spell to my knowledge. And then it has 4 call spells. You can call Pika Twilly, call Twilda, call Devil Twilly, and call Franken Twilly. Now the first 3 are Pika is energy, Twilda is light, Devil Twilly is fire, and they are simply guests that toggle between that element of damage and healing. Franken Twilly is also energy, but it has a toggle between doing a poisonous attack for energy and doing a smaller heal, but with also status resistance. So it can make you more likely to resist stuns and such. As uses, I wouldn't use it most of the time, but for some bosses, might come in handy. As for the pets, they're both dark pets, Unlucky Rabbit and Something G. Something G is just a normal dark pet. Unlucky Rabbit can lower the opponent's luck. And then after that, there are the Mogloween paintings in the shop. All of them go to the same spot. They go to the same hub. And the faces a bunch of them are tokens, and there's a couple of gold ones. I don't think any of them look that great, but you might like some of them. You should take a look through. And that is pretty much it for Mogloween. Thanks for watching. If you're watching the short video, I will just cut it off after this and do my little outro. If you're watching the long video, all of the gameplay is lined up with chapters, so you can just go to whatever quest you're interested in. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know in the comments if I missed something. I'll put it in the comments, so that whoever's looking in the future can see. Or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, and peace and love, guys. See you in the next one.